young singer named Justin Moore.
We don't do a whole lot of bullshitting up here. We just get up here and play country music.
The Justin Moore podcast is sponsored by Bobcat. Visit them at bobcat.com.
All right, I think all my stuff's working.
I don't know if mine is or it ain't, but here we go.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Justin Moore podcast. Y'all, thanks for tuning in today. This is the first episode of Season 5 here at the JMP 2023. What's up? I'm JR the Handler, co-host of this fine podcast. And on the other end of the Zoom machine today is country music's own Justin Moore, the namesake of this podcast, and my buddy and namesake of this podcast, like I said. Well, there he is. What's up, JM? How's everything in Arkansas today?
What's up, man? We took a pretty good hiatus. I know everybody was probably wondering if we were coming back or not, and here we are. Yeah, we just took a long break. We literally just got back to touring, so we said we would start back when we got back on the road. And had a good break, had a good holiday season. Hopefully everybody out there listening did as well. And everything's good, man. It's like 75 degrees here today, and beautiful. It's been hot ever since we got home. What did we get home? Sunday, I guess. It's been like really, really warm here, but it's been raining every day except today. It's beautiful and sunny, and so we've been out practicing softball for the last few days. So
nice. Yeah, same here. It's been good weather since we got home. Windy, but sunny and warm. They say it's going to have some storms this weekend, and this will come out Monday. So this should be. Hope everybody has a good start to their week and had a good weekend. We're recording this on Friday,
Thursday.
Friday. Thursday. I don't even know what day it is. We're recording this on Thursday.
It's hard to keep up, man.
I know, right? We're back in the swing of things. I've answered emails and calls and stuff about shows for the next couple months, and all over the place. But yeah, we're recording this now, but this will come out first of the week. So hope everybody had a good weekend. Gonna have a good week coming up. But yeah, like Justin said, we took a little hiatus and get everything lined up and get ready for a new year. We've talked to some people about coming on as guests. Couple new different things we're going to try inside the podcast over the next couple months. Probably not going to do episodes every week. Probably do every other week. But y'all go to the Justin Moore Podcast Instagram page and friend up there, and that'll keep you up to date with everything. And we've got some other cool stuff as far as that goes to talk about as the show goes on. But yeah, and talking about that, Judge, Adam Burns mentioned that this weekend when we ran into him. And where did we see Adam? Was that Birmingham?
I think it was, yeah.
Or Kentucky.
That really cool theater we played.
Yeah,
I thought it was Birmingham.
Yeah, this past weekend we played
I could be wrong. Maybe it was Highland Heights.
Yeah, Northern Kentucky University. Yeah, we played up there, and then we played at the Alabama Theater in Birmingham on Friday, which was beautiful and cool. Shout out to my old buddy Casey Taylor. Got to see him and his wife and a couple other buddies while we were there. My buddy Junior. But then the next night we went to Shreveport and played the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium, which was the original home of the Louisiana Hayride, which was really cool. Production office was Elvis's dressing room when he was there in the 50s. They had the shower where Elvis showered still blocked off and stuff in the pictures.
I kind of likened that place because you and I are both sports guys, especially basketball, to like the Hoosiers gym of venues. It's
right.
It's old but it's super cool and it was really neat and we played there before, but
and it's got a little bit of the Eagles Club up in Milwaukee.
Yeah, a little bit in Milwaukee.
It's got a little bit of that old kind of little haunted kind of passageways and dark. You don't know where does that go.
Yeah. Did you hear? You probably did, but did you hear that the jail cells downstairs what they were built for?
At the Shreveport.
In Shreveport. Did you see
I
those?
Didn't know that was down there. I didn't
like jail cells down there, like down on the bottom floor, and they were built because they filmed a Bernie Mac movie, rest in peace, Soul Man. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
And they built those for that movie.
Oh, wow.
I guess somebody was in jail at some point or something during that movie. I've seen the movie, but it's been years and years ago. But
Interesting.
so I don't really remember that scene. But I thought, like, wow, they've got a jail in this building.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been cooler if it wouldn't have been built for a movie. If it had,
Right.
like,
I was
been there
thinking you were going
to
to say
take
it was
people to or something like
well,
that.
I thought
Like,
you were going to say because back in the day they had animals there. They had to keep a tiger in there or a lion for a show.
yeah, I
they
don't
did one
know.
time with Houdini
yeah,
or
right.
something crazy.
Yeah, no, it could have been a cooler story, really.
Right,
But
right.
but it was a
It's like-
really cool place, and like you said, like the hayride was there, and for anybody who don't know what that is, go look it up. It was kind of
It's like the Opry.
it was the other Opry,
right.
right? I mean,
Yeah, they had
is
had
that
one
a good
there,
way
and
of
there was a
putting it?
Chicago. There's a few of Opry type shows back in the day, variety, big time country and western radio shows that are like the Opry still lives on today. But there were several of those big ones. And Louisiana Hayride was a huge one where Hank Williams got his start. Elvis, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
just
even
George
when
Jones,
they kicked
tons of
Hank off the Opry, like he would still go play the hayride.
right.
And so you can look all that stuff up for folks out there listening. But
yeah,
now,
that's where we were.
now I guess there's only the Opry, but there used to be a number of those
Yeah.
variety type shows, I guess you would call
Right.
them.
But yeah, but that was really cool. I didn't know where we were going with that. But yeah, since we got home, we had I've had good weather as well. And I was saying we ran into Adam, and he said Happy New Year, and he's like, "Can we still say that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." And that was kind of the theme for today. I was thinking, since we hadn't done an episode yet, I mean, it's February, but still Happy New Year, everybody. If you hadn't seen each other, and it's early in the year, I think it's cool to say Happy New Year because you still keep it going. And
I
so
think it's still early in the year, right? I mean,
that's what I'm thinking.
February,
Happy New
early
Year,
February.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
especially if you hibernate, stuff, come back out for a little bit. Hey, Happy New Year, So, anyway, well, yeah, good to be back on here. Got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. I've actually later on today I've got to get on another podcast, which I'll leave some info about. It's got Tig's Bits, just a conversation type thing. Pretty funny guy from Louisiana. You can imagine how this is going to go.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna do that later on, and then I know we've got the weekend off, and I don't know if you've got big plans, but then we've got to go we've got a private show down in Florida on Monday, and then we're going up to Detroit on Wednesday to do the 10-man jam up at the Fox Theater there, which is another iconic, classic, old school, beautiful, big, heavy duty building.
Yeah, we've done that. I think this will probably be our, I don't know, third or fourth, maybe time to do the 10-man jam. I remember the last time we did it. One time we did it, actually. I don't think you were with me yet. I mean, I'm talking like 15 years ago.
Right.
We were on our way there, and our bus caught on fire.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was pre-me.
You got to get off the bus. like it's on fire. Then we ended up taking it after to the show after it got put out and everything. But and then the last time we did it, Uncle Cracker was on it. Were you with me then? I think
that's when Joey and I were trading off, and he did a couple of those, and I did another one.
Yeah, he was in rare form that night. But
I'm sure.
That's his hometown.
Oh yeah,
I think. And so anyway, and before we go any further, for those who are watching this, also, this is not a fashion statement, by the way. This is a prescription. And for those listening, I'm talking about I'm wearing glasses. And
it's
JR
official.
can tell you it's not a fashion statement. I'm literally, I have a prescription now, and I'm pushing 40. I'll be 39 next month. It just happened to me about a year early, I guess you'll say.
Yeah, it happens fast, don't it, Bubba?
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
telling you.
When thinking, well, maybe I could use some readers. Well, I just need full-blown glasses now.
Yeah, exactly. I don't wear them all day. I usually, like in the afternoon and evening, I wear them, and when I drive, I wear them. So, But anyway, I just
I'm envious.
I wanted the folks watching to go instead of going, oh, does he think he looks cool or smart?
Pull
or
the
what?
Russell
like, no,
Westbrook
this
move.
is we bought a PlayStation for the bus, which is a whole different story, and we've been playing 2K, which is basketball, and JR and I have, and so every time we do, I put my glasses on so I can see better.
And I'm envious because I know you can see better.
Yeah.
And I know you can see better, and I'm squinting and can't. And I'm like, I wish I had some glasses already because I know you can see better. And I'm like,
there are certain places I wear them, like at church, like the lights at church are like super bright and like we talk about. Like one of the reasons I knew I needed glasses is because when I would drive at night, the headlights of oncoming cars and traffic would be like distorted and like huge, and I thought everybody was bright lighting me, and they weren't.
Right.
And I'm like, man, that looks weird. I feel like everybody's about to hit me.
Yes, you feel like you're on the edge of the road.
Yeah, so the lights at our church do the same thing to my eyes. So every Sunday when we go to church, I wear my glasses, and people are going, do you really need those? I'm like, yeah, I really need them. I do. I wish I didn't, but I do.
But, yep.
Sorry.
I know.
But anyway.
So, not a fashion statement necessity these days. And like I said, I'm in because I know you can see better. And I told you the story about mine. The one time I went, they worked great that morning.
You went too early in the day.
I went too early in the morning.
Yep.
I need to go in the afternoon.
I went in the afternoon.
Yep. There you go.
There you go.
But, yeah, so, and talking about shows, we're going to do that Wednesday the 22nd, and then our next show will be March 3rd in Kenansville, North Carolina, and then Saturday, March the 4th in Roanoke, Virginia. Then we've got a few weeks off. I know you've got some stuff to do back home. Kiddos got spring break, all that good stuff. Then we're going to be at the Stifle Theater for Performing Arts in Salina, Kansas on March 24th. The Cord McCoy Duquan Rodeo in Duquan, Illinois on March 25th. So that's what we've got for the end of this month in March. Y'all come see us at a show if you're in that area. Go to justinmooremusic.com. You can find all that there as well as links to this podcast in all its glorious forms. You can get links to all Justin's music and videos, the merch store, the new stuff we've got up there. I know Jonathan was putting some stuff on sale to get rid of some old stock stuff, so y'all be sure to check that out. I just clicked on it, and the opening picture now is awesome because Cody took cool pictures, and y'all are awesome. But it's the You and Priscilla, the You, Me, and Whiskey, so we might as well talk about that a little bit. I know you've talked about it a lot on other media outlets and stuff for the last month or so since it was all put together, and you and Priscilla together have done some stuff like when the video was released that night. But I know for me, we've been out on the road the last 2 weeks. Priscilla's been on the show as direct support, and it's been a blast. But I'll let you elaborate on that a little bit. But it's happening. And this song, I just got the report yesterday, and we're in like the mid-30s. This song's rocking fast. Looks like another big song, and I know even our crew, along with fans and friends and random people, have texted me that normally wouldn't how much they're digging this new tune.
Yeah, man, it's always surprising to me, what people gravitate towards as far as songs or albums or whatever, and I thought this song had a chance to be a big record, but I mean, I got a call from I haven't even told you. I got a call from our record label president yesterday, just going, man, this could be your biggest song of your career. Which I'm going, really? Okay, cool. That's I mean, it's great, but
yeah, right.
You never know why that happens or when that's going to happen, and just again, thankful to radio for playing it and the fans for digging it. And I think it's one of or maybe our most streamed song at this point in our career. And, to be starting I think you mentioned our 16th year on the road. And for that to be the case is amazing.
Right.
But no, Priscilla, as far as the shows go, man, she's a rock star. I mean, she is really, really good. I think you and I were big fans. Excuse me. I think you and I were big fans prior to us doing these. What have we done? 6 shows together, I guess now.
Yeah, something like that.
We were big fans of hers before, but to see her and her team and her band, and to watch her in front of an audience of 3,000-4,000 people or whatever, she's good, man. Like, she's really, really good. And a lot of times I get crap from people, like, man, you don't like nothing. You don't like nobody. I'm like, no, I like people that are good. Like, I like really good shit.
Yeah, right.
And like, she's good shit.
Right.
I mean,
right.
She is.
She just is. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I had some family come out this past weekend. You had some family come out this past weekend. Nate had some family come out this past weekend. And everybody, I think left going, dang, that girl's good. Like, my dad is a huge country music fan, and he knows.
And female country music, he knows more than me.
Yeah.
I'll give him that all day.
Yeah,
He's got me. 100%.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you're family, basically.
Your dad's a real fan.
He knows
Real
more
fan.
than I do. He knows the new artists. He knows everything.
Yep.
And I told him, I go, you need to go out and watch Priscilla before me. Like, make sure you're out there and you're watching. And I did the same thing to Pete, my manager, the night before.
Right.
And I said, you need to go watch. And, I don't always do that. I mean,
right.
You know.
Yeah.
And I go, no, seriously, you need to go, like, be attentive and be there and be present and just watch her. I'm telling you, she's really, really good. The songs are really good. Mm-hmm. And my dad has texted me 15 times, like, man, she's good, like, good. And I'm like, I told you. Like,
right.
Like, she really
well, you
is.
said it.
So
you said it one of those
awesome.
last nights. You said I've seen her play 5 shows so far, and I don't think I've heard her miss a.
She ain't missed a note yet that I've heard. I mean,
right.
I've seen 5 or 6 songs each night because we got to go get ready after that for our show. I know how many notes I've missed, and it's more than none. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like,
and I noticed I think she only does one cover in her whole, and she does a full 45-minute set, I believe. And she only does one cover, and all her tunes are great.
And I don't even think she plays my favorite song of hers.
She doesn't.
Remember, I was trying to stay out there and listen, and you were like, I don't think she
does.
plays that.
I
need to talk to her about that, by the way.
Yeah,
she needs to play that song.
We'll get her to do that.
That would be the biggest song she's put out yet.
It might be in the. She's clever. It's probably in the hole. Yeah, the Peaked in High School.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good tune. But yeah, and then the band's really good. It's not it's a full band. There's not a bunch of tracks and loops and clicks and claps.
And I think
it's just good.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first major, if you want to call it major, tour she's ever been on. But man, they're really pro as far as like like we've kind of talked about some nerdy stuff in our industry on this podcast where you got to be on stage at a certain time and you got to be off at a certain time or it costs people money. And I mean, they are pro, and so I've been highly impressed. And you mentioned guests when we first came on and having some lined up. We're going to get her on here in a week or two. We might do it in person on the road. I don't know that, but we may. But if not, we're going to get her on because I want you guys to get a chance to get to know her. Man, she's a firecracker. I mean, I don't even know how else to put it, but I think that's pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
Like, watching her on stage, even backstage, like talking to, we have my daughters and my wife out and watching her with my wife and kid. Like, she's a character. So
her whole bunch. They're young and they're smart. Like you said, they're efficient. They get the job done. They're cool. They're respectful. They're appreciative. They're just awesome. Good running with them. And we've got more shows to do. So y'all make sure to come to a show if we're in your area and Priscilla's on the bill, because they have been doing the You, Me, and Whiskey song during the encore.
Yeah,
so you'll get to hear it live for sure right now, if not on another outlet at some point. Yeah, we were talking earlier about different stuff and who we ran into, and I was thinking you were telling the story earlier about South, talking about Basil, and Basil, and I was thinking about, I mentioned I'm going to be on another podcast later, but I actually jumped on this morning with you guys on the Buzz, through my Buzz app, and I got Sharice to jump on and listen as well, which I know a lot of your friends and family do. But I had a great time chit-chatting with you guys this morning, and I know we're probably going to have some new listeners. Well, I hope we do, because I hope everybody's sharing this podcast and telling their friends and family and hitting the like and click and rating and all that fun stuff everywhere you can, because that really helps. And I'm going to go down the rating stuff and read out some of those and do some fan mail, if not today, on the next episode for sure. So y'all make sure to keep those coming. But if you are new to the podcast, you don't know, Justin also does a morning radio show out of Little Rock, Arkansas, where he's based out of, called The Buzz, with a few of his buddies. They've been doing it for a while. He came on, was it last year, your first year?
Yeah, it was January, I think, maybe December of last year, something like that.
Right. Yeah, they were a middle-of-the-road conference team. Justin came in, now the top of the league, so you know how that works. But his buddy, you could tell him about it, but it's with David Basil, who's a legend, who is also a podcast alumni, who's been on here with us before, and he's a hoot. And Roger, who is just hilarious. And it's just going to be you three guys this year.
Yeah. So, it kind of came about by fluke, to be honest with you. So for those who don't know, there was a long time, like a 40-year legend in the Little Rock market, or this region, if you want to call it that, whatever. Radio Hall of Famer. He was kind of like a local Howard Stern, maybe.
Right.
And then after the Janet Jackson Super Bowl deal, in the FCC cracked down even more, he's swapped to go into sports talk, but it's sports talk what we do, but it's and it's a lot of Razorback stuff. So it's Little Rock, so it's a lot of Razorback stuff, but it's more like barbershop.
Yeah,
talk.
It's morning drive stuff. I mean, you're talking about birthdays of the day.
I mean, yesterday we had, I don't know if you got to listen yesterday, but yesterday we did about a 45-minute segment about the squatty potty, which is what you use to help you poop. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we talked about taking a dump for 45 minutes yesterday. So there's something
Quality
for everybody.
Programming.
Yeah, it's
and you'd
not
have to listen to
just
get it in
sports talk.
context, because it could go from anywhere. Y'all could be talking to the president of the SEC and then end up talking about that kind of stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I
met Wrestling Man today, and that was cool.
Wrestling Man.
Wrestling Man, excuse me.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
You didn't get to hear the end of his finishing move, though, but we'll have to get you back on for that. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, we have a Roger, who you mentioned, is an actor and a comedian and really, really funny guy, and Basil was a former captain of the Razorback football team, and he has created the Little Rock Touchdown Club, who's brought in, I mean, just huge national names. Anybody
everybody.
you can imagine. Yeah, has been.
Well,
I mean, like Terry, Bradshaw was here last year.
Well,
for
last
example.
year,
Mean
the funny
Joe Green.
The funniest one from
Joe
last year
Theismann was just here.
was Ed Ogeron, and that was the one they
Yeah.
took the clip from where he said, we're going to pay
Yeah,
this
that made
money, but
national news. Yeah.
right. You're going to pay this money, and but you ain't going to be the coach no more. Okay, well, what time
Which
do I need to
door
leave,
you
and
want
which
me to
door do I
walk
go
out
out
of?
of?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's where that
so,
came from. Yeah.
So he created that. He also created a bunch of trophies and awards like the
Burlsworth and
the Burlsworth Trophy, the trophy game between us and Missouri, between Arkansas and LSU. What's the Frank Broyles Award, which is the assistant coach of the year nationally. So he's done a lot of stuff. Anyway, it's a fun group, and it for me it happened kind of by fluke, but I've enjoyed it. And this year we have gotten my schedule a little more a little better for me, I guess you would say. Like I was doing 6 to 10 Monday through Friday last year. So with our touring schedule, that was really, really difficult on me. And this year I'm doing like 7 to 10, just 3 days a week. So it gives me a couple more days, especially when we're on the road and all that. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and like I said, I listen to it through the app, so you can go on there and find it. And there's links on Justin's page. You can find all that on there and listen to them if you're in the area. Even if you're not in the area, if you need something to listen to, just tune in over there. Very cool. And I jump on from time to time.
It's the buzz. I think that's what the app's called. Let me look it up.
Buzz. 103.9 the buzz.
103.7.
103.7 the buzz. Yeah. 103.7 the buzz.
So you can go on and you can listen to we interview people. We a couple of days ago, who did we interview? Steve Atwater, who played Hall of Famer, played at Arkansas, but he played at Denver. He's an NFL Hall of Famer. We have national people on weekly. So if you're into that kind of thing, you're into sports, I mean, there is some Razorback talk, obviously, but it's more national stuff than anything.
Well, yeah, and I know today, I was going to tie this into something else I want to talk about. That'll be a fun way to introduce one of our little surprises we have for everybody if they don't know about it yet today. Today you had on the local weather expert from your area. What's her name?
Yeah, we have her on each week, Melinda Mayo.
And I've heard her.
I've had a crush on for 25, 30 years.
Right.
That's like, how everybody who's married has a hall pass or what. Like that's one of my hall passes right there.
That's funny, Melinda Mayo.
She don't know that.
Right. She don't know now.
I wouldn't tell her that. Roger would tell her that, but
right.
But yeah, I've always had kind of a crush on her. She's probably, I don't know, mid-50s or something like that.
Right.
But
that's awesome.
Pretty lady. She's been on the news ever since I've been a kid.
You're right. That's awesome. Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. And I thought that'd be a fun way to do this because I was thinking, because that was your guy there, and she was talking about James Spann and some of those people, and I was thinking, or she was talking about, Jim Cantori, going to the beach.
Cantori,
that's going to be a problem.
The Weather Channel guy,
The Weather Channel guy. But I thought for me, I was thinking, in Alabama, we have James Spann. And James Spann has been the news guy at Alabama. James
so
Spann.
you don't have the same kind of affection for James that I have for her.
No. I'm a little ticked at him, actually, because I send him pictures every now and then on Instagram of the beautiful Gulf Coast, and he never uses them or tags me in them. So, but anyway, he's still my weather guy if you're in Alabama. And I know growing up in Mississippi, we always had Walt Grayson was the guy. I mean, he looked like your pawpaw when I was little. Walt was the weatherman for Mississippi.
I wonder if people still watch, we still watch the local news every night.
That's
I
what I
wonder
was
if
going to
people
say.
still do that.
I was going to see if people would chime in on that.
Do y'all?
Yeah, we do. Because, now down here, I watch Alan Seals, who just moved back to the Pensacola area, Mobile area. He's a legend, been off in Boston, came back. But Alan Seals, and I trust him. He's my guy.
Right.
And when we were in Louisiana, Margaret Orr was who I listened to on the New Orleans channel. But down there, the long-time guy, anybody in Louisiana is going to say Bob Breck. Bob Breck was the weatherman in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows Bob.
Name.
You even know
Yeah.
Bob Breck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like the regional guys float out. I'm sure if you live in Omaha, you got one. Or if you live in Kansas, wherever you live,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got a regional person. And I thought that might be cool to send in to the new text line we have. And that's where I want to talk to people about that real quick. Now we have a text line set up directly to Justin and our team. So if you want to send questions, if we do prizes, or we do any kind of thing we interact with, you can go to this text line and be a member, and you'll get all the info instantly, and you'll be able to send questions, comments, any of that kind of stuff directly to this number. So the Justin Moore text line number is 501-200 4050. That's 501-200-4050. And like I said,
easy to remember.
Easy to remember.
4050.
240-50, 501 Arkansas number. So, yeah, use that number, text, say, hey, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so, and let us know who your weather person is. If you got a little story about that, use it there. I'll get Cody to compile them for me and get them to me, and we'll read some of those out on the next one. Because
I was going to say, I mean, if we get backed up on that, we can – we field a lot of questions, or you do, through social media for the podcast, and that's another way to get to us. And that may be the best way moving forward, actually.
It'll definitely be one way, because we're going to do ticket giveaways.
Spot.
Yeah, and meet and greet giveaways and different. When new music drops, you'll get earlier access. All kinds of fun stuff's going to come through the text line. That's going to basically be the fan club hub and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of things. You can obviously still go to Justin Colmore on Instagram and Twitter, or JR the Handler on Instagram and Twitter. JustinMooreMusic.com. There's links that way to contact. It'll have all those on there, or JRTheHandler.com has the stuff to get to the podcast as well, and the YouTube. We still want to leave comments on all that, but the text line 501-200-4050 is going to be huge for getting those things like this, so we can compile them and get them all together, and I can do them more concisely. So I think that'll be a fun one to start with. I know we've talked about a few other ideas, but that just came to my head today when we were talking, and I was thinking, I wonder what the guy in Portland, who's the longtime guy or gal in Portland,
right.
So that'd be cool. Wherever
and they're local celebrities.
Yeah,
like
they are.
If you saw them at a grocery store, I mean, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so and so, or that's
it's like Ron Burgundy kind of.
Yeah, exactly. We had
Veronica
a long
Corningstone.
Time, yeah, we had a long-time weatherman at the same station. He was the lead meteorologist, I guess you would call it. His name was Ned Permy. And
gotta love the names too.
Yeah. And so
we got one here, Ed Bloodsworth. I swear, Ed Bloodsworth.
He just retired, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago or whatever. But like, he was so Ron Burgundy. Like, I mean, like, you could tell he had been laying in a tanning bed right before he went on the air.
Right. Reeked of scotch.
Oh yeah, like
just put a cig out.
Stories of him, going before his broadcast and drinking 6 Coors Lights, or I'm not trying to disparage the guy, so I don't know if any of this is true.
Oh, but it's
I'm just
funny
telling
for
you what I've
folklore.
heard.
Yeah, it's just
for folklore, it's funny. Yeah. So it was just, I mean, his hair's always perfect, and the whole thing, and like,
I love it.
It's just funny. But
I love it. And then you got, I thought about this one as I was putting these few names down earlier. Our buddy Kyle Hansen, who was my Pensacola guy from Texas, but he's moved down to the Tampa area now, and he's a young legend. One day, somebody listening to this podcast is going to say Kyle Hansen was their longtime guy in their area. And, that's just crazy how the things change.
By the way, Roger, who's on our radio show, his son, you don't even know this, but his son is a meteorologist in Northwest Arkansas.
Really?
You can imagine his son would be. You know what I mean?
Gosh.
Like,
that's too funny. That's funny.
I'll have to get his name, and I'll throw it out there, so if people want to, I mean, I don't know why anybody outside of Northwest Arkansas would want to watch their weather, but it would be funny. If you knew Roger, it would be funny.
Right. And you can go down some rabbit holes in this YouTube and podcast world. I say that. That's funny. Yeah, we'll have to get Roger on soon and let him tell us about his movies,
sure.
So everybody can just know what we're talking about.
We need to do that. It would be fun.
Let's do that.
It would. Yeah.
Maybe
sure.
Maybe we'll do that one day after y'all get done or something. We'll just jump on for a little bit and get a little time in with him and put it with another one or something like that. Get him on for a little while. That'd be funny. But yeah, I wanted to put that out there. So y'all make sure to go to the text line. Everybody dial that up 501-240-50 and just say hello and send any questions or comments you got there. Let us know you got it and it works and all that fun stuff, because us and technical difficulties. I'm sure it's not going to work for somebody, but let us know and we'll get y'all dialed in. And I don't know if we talked about this earlier. I know we'd mentioned that you guys talk about sports on the other show, but we'll briefly mention a little sports this week because
speaking of, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I've got ESPN on in my office. Mm-hmm. I'm watching while we're doing this. That dang Jokic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he is a monster, and he looks like he's
ground.
Going in slow motion, man.
I know.
Like, it's crazy.
That's what I feel like I'm doing,
Golly.
but I'm not.
I mean, it's just like, okay, all right. There's a 3, boom,
and then do it up and under.
Crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No,
they were just showing highlights of him.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see highlights of somebody because we didn't see any of our teams yesterday. By the time I got on, I didn't get to watch our game in full, which is crazy because I didn't set a reminder for once.
I just saw the very end of y'all's game.
And I saw all your buddies tweeting about, their disgruntledness of what was going on in you guys' game. And then I flip over to ours, and we got beat by Tennessee. So
which Tennessee's really good. I mean, they were at Tennessee. Tennessee's 10th ranked, but y'all are still
same
a
thing
number
happened
1
in football.
seed.
We should have.
Y'all are still a number 1 seed.
I know, but it's just and Tucker now. And he last
and
week
I'm gonna tell you right now,
he said he wasn't a basketball fan last week. So if he changes this week, we may have to wrestle.
Yeah. Well, I'm tell you right
now.
Sorry,
Melissa and David, if I hurt Tucker.
And knock on wood, I'm gonna spin around and spit or whatever I need to do because I'm not trying to jinx you, but. To me, there's not one team in college basketball that is just dominant and can go run the table and beat everybody. I think it's kind of wide open. I think this is one of those seasons you could possibly see like a 9 seed win it all. Maybe somebody gets hot. Like UConn did, I don't know, a decade ago or whatever.
A well-coached team.
But if there is
team.
one team to me that's better than everybody else, it's y'all. And I hate to say that. I mean, like I'm knocking on every whatever. What have y'all lost 4 games or something like that?
Right. Yeah.
Y'all are well coached. You're deep. You're good at every position.
We've beat a couple other.
I think y'all are fine.
And
that's your first SEC loss. Your first one. And and we got beat on the road. So our guy that I've been telling you about, he's projected to go 4th in the draft, and he hadn't played all year. Right. He just came back, and we've lost 2 since he's been back. But he's only played like 6-8 minutes each game, and it's going to take a little bit of time, I think. We were kind of in a rhythm without him, and you go, well, we're going to disrupt this rhythm that we've been in without him. But our ceiling is so much higher with him than it is without him. So you have to, I think, take your lumps. And, assuming we get in the tournament, our ceiling is so much higher with him. It'd be like Brandon Miller not playing all year, who's Alabama's stud. And then you go, well, do you want him back? Y'all are playing good. You want him back? You go, hell yeah, I want him back. I mean, of course.
Yeah.
It's a lottery pick or, whatever. And so it's not surprising to me that we've kind of stumbled a couple of times because, the game as well as I do or better. And, there's a rhythm to getting to know somebody that you're playing with, and even you and I on NBA 2K, like we're playing 2-on-2, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I thought you were going to roll, and you did this or whatever. You got to get to know each other a little bit on the court, and so I think once we do, we'll be better for having him, and we'll be a better team. So. But yeah, we took one on the head last night. We had a chance to win. I mean, A&M, look, they're only a game behind you guys. That's who we lost to last night at A&M. They're a game behind y'all in the conference. So they're a good team. They're really good defensively. We had a chance to win on the road, and it's hard to win on the road, especially in the SEC, and we just didn't. We didn't get it done. We didn't play good enough. So
yeah, I feel like we're coming off these big games, these big highs and achievements, and then we kind of we come off a little low on the next one. I hope we're getting over that. I hope that's just young, I hope that's just working out the kinks. But
hey, just play good next month. That's all that matters.
Right. It seems like, we get into rank number 1. We we go over there. We had a tough battle with Mississippi State, and one of our first SEC games, came out, won that, then went and laid an egg.
Hey, they're really good defensively too.
They really are.
Really good.
They went and laid an egg against Oklahoma State and Big 12 challenge, but we've said that before, in football, when you have stuff like that, it gives you a chance to be coached up, and when your teams are young and coming together, I think it's a positive. And the running the tables with teams these days, man, unless you just get some, I just don't know if it's going to happen, because players don't stay around long enough to get a few more and get the depth. So I don't think they're going to see many of those.
Would you agree though that this year there's a lot of parity? Like there could be a number of teams win it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
I mean, I don't think there's not a dominant Duke team or a dominant Kentucky team. Or,
think how many teams think how many teams you've seen lose to a lesser team on paper this year, just like all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we came up, and then back. It's just. But I think I'm like you. But it all goes down, like you were saying about your guys' health. If everybody stays healthy through the end, we've got one thing. But then a little here and there, it changes the whole scope of what could happen. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing y'all have going for you got a great coach, and you have a superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude he's the best I've seen in college this year.
Yeah.
Him, and there's a guy at Baylor, and I forget his name. I think his last name may be George. I could be wrong. He's shooting guard, probably 6'4", 6'5". Absolute stud.
Right. And we've got a few true bigs that can rim,
but that's
protect,
the two
and rebound.
best I've seen.
And then we've got several guards that can get it done. And Sears is another freshman guard that's another superstar.
Well, that's the other thing you have to have in the tournament is you have to have really good guards, and y'all have great guard play and guards with experience.
Yep.
Which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and we're pretty deep and long.
We have really good guards, but we don't really have guards with experience. So, we'll see. But
we'll see. Well, yeah, and we'll talk more about that next week. Hopefully, after some wins,
after some W's.
After some W's. But I want to make sure everybody one more time that text number to send these in. Send us your local weather person. This is going to be fun. I look forward to looking down these. The number's 501-200.
Like you said, the names. If anything else, it'd be fun to read down the list of names.
The names, yes, and see if there's competition.
Or sports
in
people,
states.
or just local personalities.
Yeah,
like Basil's
favorite?
One.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
who's your favorite local sports or media personality on local radio or television? That'd be a good.
And
one.
What's ridiculous about him?
Yeah.
Like the one I talked about, like his tan.
Yeah.
Like I did a roast. It might have been a Basil, actually. I don't even remember who it was. It was a local personality I got asked to do a roast of, and Ross wrote it.
Oh, Lord.
So you can imagine, Ross is, for those out there listening, is a great friend of mine. But he's just hilarious.
Right.
Like to the level he could be a professional comedian, like hilarious.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
JR? And so one of the lines he wrote about this guy that I'm talking about, Ned Permy, was that he suffered from tanorexia.
Tanorexia.
Instead of
You're right.
anorexia. So it'd be funny to hear, like, oh my gosh, we love this guy, but his mustache is ridiculous, or we
or
love
this lady's
this lady,
makeup,
but her makeup is
just-
crazy, or
she
whatever.
don't know, and nobody will tell them. Yeah,
right.
There's one of those around here too. It's funny
So-
you mention that, but yeah. So use the text line, send those in. Justin Cole Moore on Twitter and Instagram. Y'all go say hello. Go to the Justin Moore Podcast Instagram page and sign up there. I'm JR the Handler on all forms. Make sure to tell your friends, family, coworkers, all that fun stuff. New people you meet, country music fans, sports fans, everybody. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff on the podcast this year. I know we talked about wrestling a little bit. We're going to definitely talk some wrestling and wrestling too. We're going to talk some games. I've got my, I don't know if anybody can see on here, I've got my see this, Just? You remember when you were a kid, if you got one of these?
Oh my gosh!
The glove. You remember that?
Wow.
Power glove.
Does that work?
I mean, it hadn't worked in a long time. It's got dust on it, but it was in a box with my Nintendo and some of my stuff.
Does it fit?
I hadn't even tried to put it on.
Oh my gosh!
I'm going to wear it at some point. I might bring it on the bus just to wear when we play 2K. But
amazing.
Power I need. That was one of the most underperforming products they ever put out. That thing did not work very well. You could not do much with it.
Not at all.
You basically just held it on there and played the joystick with your other hand.
Yeah.
It didn't work very good.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
It was good in theory, but it didn't pay that. It looks awesome. But anyway, so we'll talk about some games and stuff this year. We're going to talk a lot about music. So y'all make sure, and speaking of, Justin's new album is going to come out May 5th. The new record will be out May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo.
And per usual, JM's not wasting any time. He's already got a lot of the next record wrote, and I've already heard a little birdie told me to make plans to drop him off at the beach house here in a few weeks so he could work on some more songs for the next record. So
we're
churning and burning.
It's kind of funny, I wouldn't have known this until I did this for a living, but somebody asked me this weekend, they were like, why are you already writing for a new album? This album hadn't even came out. I go, that's the way we do it.
Right.
So all the songs that are coming out on this new album that you guys haven't heard yet, I probably wrote them 2 years ago,
Right.
And the album's been recorded for maybe a year. I mean, it's been sitting there waiting to come out. And so, we try to stay ahead of it, especially in today's climate because it's so different. Used to, when I first started, you would put an album out and then you had 2.5 years or something before you put another one out. But, with no CDs and just trying to get as much out there as possible, as quick as possible, I mean, we try to stay ahead of it, and I've got some really good ideas for song titles and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm excited about it. We'll start that next week.
And you just pile up a bunch of stuff because you have to weed through it. You start with a ton of songs and then you get it down and then you get outside cuts coming in.
I'll probably write 30 or 40 songs and then pick 8 or 9 or 10 of them or whatever.
Then a couple, and then outside cuts you got to go through. So it's just a process,
right.
and you want to make sure you always have. I know I've heard you say this. I'm not speaking for you, but I've heard you just want to put the best songs that you can put out each time
right.
instead of rushing it just to put something out, which is the way to go. It's why they always stick. So anyway, y'all be looking for that May 5th. I was going to drop a couple new albums on you, a new musical,
and it's called Stray Dog, by the way.
Stray Dog,
the album.
I guess we can talk about that, and I got new credentials somewhere. I'll show y'all next time. But I was going to drop a couple new music things. I don't have any videos to watch, but this is some new albums I just downloaded that'll be good. Our buddy Chris Shiflett's got a new album coming out, former podcast alum and guitar slinger for the Foo Fighters, Americana music extraordinaire. He's got a new song coming out. Check that out. I downloaded Priscilla's whole new album that just came out on a deluxe version with 4 new songs called Welcome to the Block, the deluxe edition. Man, that's just a good record all the way around. Most of the stuff's a lot of it's girl perspective type songs, but they're still just well written, good songs. The music's good.
Well written.
Country. Yeah, it's good. Well written for sure. Great first album for her. And then one that slipped through, and I Shazammed this song that I heard the other day, and it was on this album I should already knew about. But the album is titled Southern Rain. It's by Mel Tillis. Mel Tillis, country music and television movie legend. Mel Tillis.
Tillis.
Only time he didn't stutter is when he's singing.
When he's singing.
Father of Pam Tillis. But that album, Southern Rain's a banger. So I've been listening to that lately. And then because it's Mardi Gras down here where we live, I've been listening to Dr. John's Gumbo. And if you're new into that kind of world of music, the New Orleans style music, that's an album from '72 by Dr. John. It's called Dr. John's Gumbo. Go check that out. That'll break you into that and it'll put you in a little Mardi Gras spirit. Fat Tuesday is this coming Tuesday, and that'll be the end of Mardi Gras. So I hope everybody had a good Mardi Gras season. I know I've eaten enough king cake to last me for the rest of the year.
I literally just told Kate, because she gets them delivered from Canada's, which is the grocery store, but for those listening, it's the grocery store by where Kate's
family lives,
childhood home is.
Right.
Yeah. And so she gets them delivered this time of year from there, and I've eaten pounds of it, like 25 pounds of king cake, and I go, you got to stop ordering these. Like I can't fit in my blue jeans. Like you got to stop. Like
and I've been getting one.
I walk by it, and I can't not get a piece and heat it up for 20 seconds, and with a big glass of milk. I'm like, you got to stop. Like you got to knock it off. Like
I know it's so good. And like we've had the joke on our text chain between me and you and Sharice and Kate about you leave the butter knife in the king cake.
Oh yeah, in it. Yeah,
it stays in the box till it's gone. And see, and Sharice is just now eating some. For the whole first part of it, she was on this diet because of a wedding and stuff, and just wasn't trying to eat that kind of stuff. So
the wedding's over now. She's all about it.
She's never been a huge sweet, and I get stuff in mine. We've talked about this. She likes hers plain cinnamon, so I always get stuff in it. That way she can't eat the majority of it.
That's just like a cinnamon roll. But
right, I want all the stuff.
I want the gooey butter and the pecans and the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I was eating whole king cakes by myself over a few day period until recently. So I got to get off that. And going back on tour, I already feel my pants getting tight. It's like, oh.
And you know me, like I was never a sweet eater ever until like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. Right. I became a sweet eater. I got a sweet tooth all of a sudden. So that's not good.
And I use it as, and I eat really clean, but I try to, and but I always say, well, it's Mardi Gras, King Cake, I just got to do it right now, and I got to do it. So, but Fat Tuesdays is Tuesday, and that'll be it. So no more king cake for me.
Hey,
go ahead.
And you were talking about music. I didn't mean to interrupt. But,
no, go ahead.
You were talking about music and something you turned me on to, I don't know, years ago, that I've been listening to a lot lately. I'll put it on through our like Bluetooth speakers at home when we go to bed, and Kate's like, "Who is that? What is that?" The Romantic Moods of Jackie Gleason.
That's a good record. I've listened to that record more than I listen to Waylon live, and y'all know I've listened to Waylon live.
So anybody out there is going, Jackie Gleason? I'm telling you, it's awesome.
Yep.
I don't know what you call it, big band or.
Yeah, it's big band era jazz, and it's a lot of standard. It's a lot of standard like, songs.
There's some
no vocals
songs they do, no vocals. It's great to go to sleep to. Yeah. That's what I go to sleep to usually on the bus. But anyway, you were talking about music, and we always try to turn people on to stuff. But
that's a good one.
That is, I'm telling you, the Romantic Moods of Jackie Gleason, and yes. I'm talking about the Jackie Gleason and Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, the greatest.
Don't ask me how, like,
and I'll tell you another one to take y'all
why
down
he
some
did
holes.
music. I had no idea. You turned me on to it years ago. Yep. And I'm like, Jackie Gleason. You're like, I don't know, but I'm just telling you.
I've got.
So
he did about.
I've been listening to that for like a week.
He did about a dozen records. He did about a dozen records during that era, all similar, and they always had names like. Music for Lovers, or Moods, Music and Martinis, or Music to Make You Misty.
So what role did he play? Is what
he was
I
the conductor.
Like,
he was the conductor, but was not trained. There's anyway. You have to see. Some people said he wasn't trained, but then they said he could do all kinds of stuff. I don't think he was trained. He was just real clever. Tell you, while you're going down holes on here, we make suggestions. After you watch this on YouTube, go to YouTube and just YouTube Jackie Gleason, the greatest, and there's a 60 Minutes interview on there of him in the 80s. Absolute gold. Absolute gold. It explains all of it. He was the greatest. He was the greatest one in the greatest era, and by everybody's standard, he was the greatest, one of the greatest entertainers of all time. And his nickname was the greatest, given to him by Lucille Ball. I mean,
wow.
not that she ever sold any tickets. You know what I mean? So,
wow.
But Jackie Gleason, yeah, he loved it. So he just decided in the 50s that's what he liked, and he wanted to do it. So he
Wow.
got put together a huge
this album
A-list
came out
band.
in the 90s. I mean, the 90s.
No, that's wrong. That's just when it got put. That's from 50s. That's from 53. That's just what the Apple.
No, but it
rights.
got. Okay, well,
That's
96 is what it says.
That's some Apple right stuff. No, that's when it remastered for that. No, it came out.
So
in
that
the 50s.
was the 50s.
That was the 50s, yes, sir.
Wow.
Yep. And like I said, I've got probably 6 of those records. That's how I found out about it. I found it in a bin of records one time when I lived in Nashville. Bought a big tub of records.
It'd be cool to have the actual album.
Vinyl. I got it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, do you really? Wow.
That's how I found out about it. I got it in a stack. I listened
cool.
to it and was like, this is great. So then I found it on iTunes and saved it there as well. But, yeah, that's a great one. So, yeah, y'all go check that out. There's just some suggestions for this week.
I found some old albums that I had been given from somebody who had passed, probably a number of somebody's who had passed. But I got Kate and I got Ella a record player for her for Christmas. That's what she wanted, was a record player.
Yep.
And which I thought was really neat. Mm-hmm. But of course, she wanted like Taylor Swift and
Jack Harlow,
Adele,
whatever the kids,
and like all, and I'm like, ah. So I literally just found them. Hold on, I'll grab them. Show you. Today's episode is sponsored by Bobcat. If you're like me, you don't like to sit still for very long. You look out the window and see possibilities. What if I planted a row of trees over there? It'd be nice to clear that trail in those woods. That's why Bobcat equipment is so great. Its compact size, powerful performance, and big-time versatility will keep up with all your ideas for your property. With a few attachments or implements and a Bobcat tractor, for example, you can do big things in small amounts of time. It's perfect for me when I have a break from touring or recording. Take a look at tractors, utility vehicles, mowers, and more at bobcat.com or pay a visit to your local dealer. Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Moore here. I want to remind everyone out there listening that my wife, Kate, has an awesome children's clothing boutique in downtown Benton, Arkansas. It's Central Arkansas. So if you're local, come see us at 119 West South Street in downtown historic Benton, Arkansas. Again, that's 119 West South Street in Benton, Arkansas. And if you're not local, we ship everywhere. So you can find us at shopthislittlepiggy.com and see all that we have to offer, all that my wife Kate has to offer, I should say. Facebook, you can find us at Shop This Little Piggy AR, and Instagram, you can find us at Shop This Little Piggy AR. But check us out. It's called This Little Piggy, and see what we got to offer. ShopThisLittlePiggy.com.
Hi, y'all. This is Brandon Bing, singer-songwriter and whiskey maker. You're tuning into the Justin Moore Podcast. Visit EasyLiquor.com to grab your bottle of Bangtail Whiskey and join the Blue Collar Swaller family today. Follow us on all socials at Bangtail Whiskey for more news and updates. Now pour Jigger and take this a second ride with us.
Hey, gang. As y'all have heard, the Justin Moore Podcast has recently teamed up with Wrangler. Wrangler has been an icon in authentic American style around the world for more than 70 years. With a rich legacy rooted in the American West, Wrangler commits to offering unmatched quality and timeless design. As y'all have heard me and Justin talk about on here, George Strait and Alan Jackson, they're Wranglers. We wear Wranglers too. Its collections are also for men and women, children, to look and feel great, inspiring those who wear them to be strong and ready for life every day. Wrangler is available in retail stores worldwide, including brand flagship stores in Denver and Dallas, department stores, mass market retailers, specialty shops, Western outfitters, and online. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. And you know you've heard it here, and you've seen it on stage, the Justin Moore Podcast. Dang glad to be partnered up with Wrangler because we're big fans and have been for a long, long time. Can't go wrong with a nice pair of Wranglers, y'all. I wear the Wrangler Retro. Justin wears the black one some. It's my go-to. I get mine at Academy. So if you're around an Academy or just about anywhere, you can get you a pair of Wranglers, whether you want to look like George Strait, or you want to look like JM, or you want to look like me. You can get you some Wranglers, and you can do that. Whether you're in North California or South Alabama or Montana, Texas, Ohio, Wyoming, wherever, pair of Wranglers that get the job done. Long live cowboys and plowboys. For more information, visit Wrangler.com.
I'm like, this is the stuff you need. Look, Don Gibson,
Absolutely.
Mo Bandy,
Mo and Joe.
Patsy Cline.
Legend.
This was for my grandmother, I think. Marty Robbins.
Love it.
Uh,
Hilarious.
Connie Smith.
Connie Smith, married to Marty
That was
Stewart.
when Marty fell in love with her right there,
See?
buddy.
You blame him?
No. Dave Dudley.
Dave Dudley. That road songs there, some Dave Dudley.
Johnny Horton.
Teacher turned writer. He was made up them songs for his students and then become
Stonewall Jackson.
Stonewall Jackson, big star back in the day.
Tex Ritter.
Legend,
And
absolutely.
they smell old.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, that cardboard smell.
But I'm
I
like,
love it.
you really want Taylor Swift, really? Like,
Hey, this is one. Here, I got one here. We'll give it. This is why I loved albums too back in the day. When you got an album like this, ZZ Top, Trace Hombres.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then when you open
Heck,
up,
yeah.
it's just a huge. You don't reckon that look like what we want for lunch?
Ooh, I bet that's good.
Just a big old
Right
fix
there.
of Mexican food. Ain't that something? That's what your albums cover.
Trace Hombres, right?
Trace Hombres, great record.
Yep.
Hey, and I was talking about this with somebody the other day. You talking about an instrumental song to go to sleep to? This is ZZ Top, Tejas. And again, very cool artwork on the inside. And then just all three of them. But
Wow, that's before the beard, like the big beard.
This is on the way up. But this song, the last song on this album is called "Asleep in the Desert," and I have rocked this song party when I first moved to Nashville at my buddy Gulliver's. And the very last song is "Asleep in the Desert," and it's an instrumental, and that's what always rocked me to sleep. That is definitely a good close the night song, "Asleep in the Desert," ZZ Top. But anyway. Yeah, that's awesome. There's where we can use the text line. Y'all send us in all kinds of cool ideas, and we talk about different topics like that.
Yeah, what records do y'all have?
Like, does anybody else this is a true one right here. Has anyone else ever heard of or listened to those Jackie Gleason records? I'd be surprised to know if anybody else has already owned it.
I would be stunned because I would never have heard of them had you not. I don't even remember why we started talking about that, but you told me. I'm like, what, Jackie? Like Smokey and the Bandit? Like
you were having with your sleeping stuff.
Gleason?
You were listening to Sinatra and Nora Jones, and it wasn't knocking you out. And I was like, you got to try something without any words.
Here's what was happening here. So I love Sinatra and I love Nora Jones, but I would find myself singing along with them
right
when I was trying to go to sleep, like "Fly Me to the Moon."
Oh yeah.
Let me play. I would do. I'm like, I gotta stop. Like, go to sleep.
I don't know why I didn't call.
Like, and so I think you're right. I think you were like, try this, and so it's been
awesome. Working for me for years.
Awesome.
And like I said, I've listened to Waylon Live probably as much as any country music record there ever has been. But I've probably listened to Jackie Gleason, Romantic Moods of Jackie Gleason more than I've listened to even Waylon Live, which is crazy. But that's a ease down, wind it on down.
And it's great, like if you're having like a dinner party or something like that.
Just
it's
good background
great to
music
have in the background. Yeah,
it's kind of like elevator music, It's just big band jazz, elevator music.
Which I love that kind of music. A lot of people out there may not listening. I like that kind of music personally, but
we've talked about it here. We like all kinds of music. I like a lot of it. It just depends on what you're doing, and that's the older I get, the more I like that chill stuff. I can say that I don't listen to a lot of Pan, and I used to love
rubbing off on me too because I used to listen to if I listened to anything outside of like old country, it was like AC/DC or Skinner or
right.
But like now I've got to where like. If I'm cooking, for example, like I made fajitas the other night, and I'm like, let's put this Jackie Gleason record on.
Nice little background. You set the mood. Yeah. Next thing I know, you'll be turning off the overhead lights and getting some incandescents. Then I've won. I won. I got you playing video games.
I have gotten colder natured.
And I've gotten hotter.
I know,
or I've
right?
gotten colder. Whatever if that works. I feel like I'm cold sometimes.
I may be opposite.
Yeah,
hotter natured.
Yeah, we've kind of switched on that a little bit.
Yeah, so JR's always, to that point, JR's always laughed at me because, like, I come out of my bedroom and the bus is in the back, and I come out and I'm wearing a robe and I've got a blanket on and a hoodie and
it's like 75 degrees.
A beanie, and I bring my blankie out to my recliner, and he's standing there in his underwear going
like burning
Are
up.
you not hot? And so we've kind of swapped though. Like we kind of like now I'm like, it's hot in here, and you're like, I'm not hot.
That's funny.
It's fun. It is funny. And I'm started eating sweets. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I think Kate rubbed off us on that because I used to not either, but I've gotten a little sweet tooth lately. But like I said, hopefully I'm gonna kick that after Mardi Gras. But
and I'm wearing glasses. I mean,
I know, right?
Shit's getting weird. It just is.
Strange times, my man. Strange times. Strange times. Well, all right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Couldn't do it without all you fine folks out there in podcast land and all the fine country music fans all over the world that come to Justin's shows and buy music and stream music and all that fun stuff. So from all of us over here at the Justin Moore Camp, we appreciate y'all. We'll be back soon. Again, justinmooremusic.com is the website. You can find everything you need on there involving Justin's world. Justin Colmore on Twitter and Instagram. That's how social media handles. I'm at JR the Handler on social media stuff. JRthehandler.com. You can go in there and find swag page and links to the podcast as well. Also, the brand new Justin Moore text line we introduced earlier, 501-200-4050. That's where you can send your questions and comments in if you don't want to do it on social or to the JR chat page. Also, let us know who your favorite local weather or sports or media person is in your area, and we'll go through those and
what's ridiculous about them.
Most ridiculous, and give us some comments on that. And let us know if anyone has ever heard of these Jackie Gleason records that we love so much. And
if there is one person, I would be stunned.
Yeah, we'll see. We're about to find out.
If there's one person.
Yeah, all right, let's take that back. Somebody out there that I have not turned on to it because I've turned a lot of people onto that record.
Right.
And word travels fast. But I'm going to hang around and do if you're new to the podcast, like we mentioned earlier, we'll kind of try to remind y'all some of the stuff, some of the listeners that have been on this podcast with us for the past 4 seasons know already. But at the end of each episode, I read a chapter out of the Charlie Daniels Let's All Make the Day Count book, which I highly suggest everyone should have in their home office or in their travel bag with them, because you need to read you one of these every day, even without me. But I'm going to read one of these when we get off. JM's got stuff to do. They've got a bunch of stuff going on this weekend, and we've got to get on the road. So we'll circle back with you guys next week or the week after. Stay tuned, and we'll let you know. Like I said, go to the Justin Moore Podcast Instagram page, and you'll get updates there. And until then, I'm JR the Handler. That's Justin Moore. And this has been Season 5, Episode 1 of the Justin Moore Podcast, and we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see y'all soon.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate you listening and watching. This episode was brought to you by Bobcat. Check them out at bobcat.com.
For any of you first-time listeners out there, at the end of each of our episodes, I like to do a little reading out of a book I've had that I've got a lot of use out of over the years. The book is by Mr. Charlie Daniels, and the book is called Let's All Make the Day Count, The Everyday Wisdom of Charlie Daniels. God, family, country, and work. You shall eat the fruit of the labor of your hands. You shall be blessed, and it shall be well with you. Psalms 28:2. I try to set my life goal priorities in this order: God, family, country, and work. I always want God to come first in all things. Seeing to the well-being of my family is next, followed by my patriotism. Then is my choosing profession, which makes so many of my goals in life possible. I believe in charity. I believe in feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, taking care of the widows and orphans, and all other charitable undertakings that have been pointed out to us by our Creator. What I do not believe in is for an able-bodied man finding a way to game the system and collecting a benefit that he is not entitled to. That's not how it's supposed to be. Man is supposed to work to support himself and his family. When you scam money just because the system has become so lax that it's easy to do. It is still stealing. You are living off someone else's labor, and that certainly does not honor God, country, or family. Profligate entitlement is an unstable and dangerous system. It breeds hereditary poverty and encourages sloth and idle time, too often filled with mischief. The Bible says that if a man don't work, he don't eat. Charity should be allotted to only those who cannot possibly take care of themselves and their families. Everyone else shall work for a living. Let's all make the day count.